Welcome back to Good Morning Nigeria. We're about to start. Coming up next will be newspaper review.
All right, it's a pleasure to introduce once again Chukwudi Okoli Ogbaja.
Must you call all his names? Chooks the boy.
It's time for our regular tea time, the one I enjoy. Hello, Jealous Claire. How are you doing?
Me, Chooks the boy.
How are you doing? Good morning.
Good morning.
Here, how now?
Very well.
Always
Thank
crisp
Good to see
and
you.
elegant.
Thank you.
Good to see you guys.
Okay. You want to start with the newspaper review?
All right. Let's see what the papers have this morning. We'll begin with the Blueprint. The Blueprint newspaper leads with the PDP story, and it says PDP affirms Damagum substantive chair zones presidential ticket to South. The riders accuse this APC of intimidation, fixes 103rd neck for October 15. Forget 2027, Nigeria won't return to dark era. That's according to the ruling party. All right, away from that, above the lead story there, NDLEA arrest drug kingpin, 5 others over Saudi Arabia drug case. Details on page 14. And above the masthead, this morning we have Uzekome. Other lawyers hail Umba. Governor reduces Enugu crimes by 80%. You want to find out what's happening and how that's been done, page 7 will guide you. And looking away from that, below the picture story on the front page of the Blueprint this morning, we have over 1,000 terror groups operate in Africa. That's according to Gambari. And that was at the summit for Africa Chiefs of Defense yesterday. The writer says CDS Musa 6-continent-led security architecture. All right, below that, NIMET predicts high possibility of flood in Borno, Yobe. That's on page 7. Tinubu signs landmark BASA deal in Brazil. Democracy has stabilized in Nigeria. That's according to the National Assembly. And finally, in the green strip, we have CVR. That's the continuous voter registration. INEC reads Riot Act as exercise records glitches in Kwara. All right, so that's it on the Blueprint, front page of the Blueprint this morning. Claire, what do you have?
All right. The Guardian, let's see how it got us this morning. All about politics, and the pictures on the front page tell it all. It's 2027, and it says Atiku signals interest as PDP heads for a showdown with Tinubu. The real story is on page 6. Just a little above the nameplate, you find U.S. defends new social media vetting for visa applicants. It's on page 2. And family laments poor emergency response as woman dies in Lagos lagoon crash. That is on page 8. And 795 financial institutions among over 1,000 firms facing data breach probe. It's on page 15. And just below the picture story, you find Tinubu 6 stronger Nigeria-Brazil ties, inks BASA deal. That's on page 3. And Southwest leads a new voters exercise as Southeast records lowest turnout. Federal government introduces mandatory ethics, criminal screening for teachers. It's on page 30. ICPC recovers 1.1 billion from Naira from Kanu official as state dismisses claim. It's also on page 30. Manufacturers lament as return of FOB levy. That's a free on board levy causes a stir. It's on page 3. NDLEA busts drug cartel that framed Nigerian pilgrims in Saudi Arabia. I think that's the outlook on the front page of the Guardian. I think we have one more newspaper. Okay, this is the Daily Times. The Daily Times newspaper, if I can get the front page. Okay, it also speaks to the NDLEA busting drug syndicates, the airport, and it also talks about the PDP zoning of 2027 presidential ticket, as well as NNPC stories, all on the front page of the Daily Times. Chukwudi.
Yeah, Claire, thank you. A lot of politics on the front pages today. I don't like talking politics. I don't understand politicians, really. But we must accept that politicians make the world tick. It's not just in Nigeria here. So what showdown are they talking about concerning PDP and President Tinubu? Oh, the zoning of the candidate to the south. They hope they are thinking that will deplete votes for APC, APC's candidate.
And the confirmation of Damagun as its substantive chairman.
Yeah.
Did that come as a surprise to you?
What surprise? That has been a running story.
Considering
by now you're bored in reading Damagun, Anyanwu, and all that. Nigerian politics still needs to grow beyond where it is. They tend to be gyrating around one sport. I'm talking about politicians in general. They are troubled by things they should have settled long ago. I don't know whether it's a simplistic or even timid calculation or analysis by a journalist, since we can't understand them.
Let me also ask you what you think of the word showdown. I know this is the editor's choice of word. But how do you contextualize this, in terms of, who wins and who doesn't win elections?
The editor's discretion is always a personal thing. Showdown in the sense that if we bring up a southern candidate that is going to threaten votes that would naturally go to Tinubu by people who think that the southerner should still be there in 2027. That's what they're talking about.
But how much of that is still plays out in our politics today? Because everybody will think that, okay, Nigerians will begin to look at what have you done for us? What will you do for us?
Without prejudicing comment or analysis, APC is well ahead of many of these political parties in terms of direction. It goes beyond incumbency to what the people can say is a form. They are still rallying around to assume a form, whether it's ADC or PDP. I am not pushing them out of contestation or, being...
Out of the game.
Out of the game. But my people have this way of saying, where they could obidonya. You don't meet a man who started his journey yesterday, So it's going to be really difficult to assemble something that can challenge the APC behemoth as it is at the moment. And give it to Tinubu. The man strategizes in a way that the other time we said he convinces you without throwing a punch. Who was it? Joe Ejire. He was sitting there. I went, journalists, they're no good. I went to Joe Ejire and said, you said you were going to get 450,000 for as minimum wage for us. When I enter a room with President Tinubu, come out, the thing dropped to 70,000 naira. He said, my brother, my brother, leave matter.
Yes.
The point I'm making is, when Tinubu called NLC into a room, I knew what was going to happen. Because he has this power of persuading you without really hammering you.
Well, let's leave the gladiators.
Yes.
And look at Nigerians, of course, whose votes, will be, the ticket for whoever.
Yes.
And our attitude towards, elections and vote cast. Our history tells us that, of course, Nigerians, have for long depended on stomach infrastructure, to decide whoever they vote. But isn't it time that Nigerians, looks at the real issue, which is the dividends that we call democracy? And what do you think, within the context of this discussion, is the status quo?
When I come here, I don't really talk about Nigeria because Nigeria is a subset of what's happening in Africa. The clansman, which the African is still trudging towards the voter for democracy you want him to be. it's a transition that is not going to happen overnight if it's really happening in real terms. So there will still be these vagaries about where he really pitches his tent in terms of voting for people. Things that do not make people vote in other climes are the things that make many of us vote here. So it's still a big problem. I said he's graduating from the clansman to the voter for democracy. I deliberately said that. I'm not denigrating us. That's the way we are. So many things make the political terrain in Africa, Nigeria, a volatile situation. You don't have people who have made up their minds, this is the person I'm going to vote for and all that. The vagaries of free association, all those things play out in determining where eventually the ballot goes into.
Link it with Southeast recording the lowest turnout in the latest voters exercise. I mean, we shout and we talk about, being left out in terms of infrastructural development. But this is an opportunity for you to, go out there and, register. But
I'll take two things. Give me one. Get two for the price of one. It's not just the low turnout by the Southeast for this voter registration exercise. Even recruitment into the forces, they complained about it about 2 months ago. The Southeast did not come out properly. Now, the risk is, later we're going to hear people whining from those quarters that they have been left out of the scheme of things. The way to go, my opinion, is to make sure that in terms of representation, you're not going to carry last. So I don't like reading that the Southeast recorded a low turnout in the updating of the voter register. It's not how it should be. Whoever is informing it is not helping the people at the end of the day. Strong participation in whatever is going on in your country is recommended for anybody who wants to have a piece of the action, whichever term, in whatever terms you want to look at it. That's the way it is. So I don't like reading that the Southeast had a low turnout. I don't like it at all. Because I can bet you that over time, you're going to hear people complaining again from the Southeast that this has not gone in their favor, this has not gone in their favor, and all that.
Well,
yes.
Very interesting stories on the
from the Guardian,
yes. On the front pages. But the producer says we should round off. What interests me this morning is an editorial in the Blueprint, and it is captioned, "What does Remi Tinubu want?" There's this part I would like to read out. It says, in a country where first ladies have too often been judged by the splendor of their wardrobe, the aura of their retinue, or the drama of their utterances, Senator Remi Tinubu has chosen to tread a different path. She has turned her tenure not into a showcase of power, but into a gallery of compassion, a mosaic of interventions, and a chronicle of service. This is an interesting read. I've tried to read some, paragraphs here, and, it just shows who the First Lady is, away from politics, really. I mean, like this portion says, most times when we talk about First Ladies, we're talking about the outfits and all of that. But for her, it is completely different.
Just 1.5 months ago, I was here talking about Remi Tinubu. And I mentioned 3 of them. Victoria Gowon, Remi Tinubu, Stella Obasanjo. I deliberately did that. So I moved ahead of whoever is talking here. That self-effacing attitude, she doesn't want to be in the super trooper lights of society. Yet she's quietly doing her thing.
Chukwudi.
I respect her for it.
Chukwudi, all right. I think we respect all our first ladies, but Senator Remi Tinubu,
she's in the class of her own.
Yes, in the class of her own.
Please.
I mean, what can we say about that? But this is Good Morning Nigeria. Don't go away. Our focus this morning, it's on Asia-Nigeria relations. What is in it for you? And you can join us for this conversation. But when the right time comes, we will display the number that you can send us your messages on WhatsApp, I think. Yes, that's it. All right, let's take a break now.